Hi everybody, it's Cindy here with Stampin' Chick Creations. Thank you for joining me. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are not, welcome. I just wanted to make sure I got a video in for this week. If you follow me on Facebook, you saw my post about the weekend that I had. So I definitely wanted to get a video in, and I just thought it would be best to do it as a recorded video because I did not want to have to fight. I did not want to have to fight the internet as well on top of everything else going on. So, thank you for joining me. Please be sure to follow and share this video as well as subscribe so that when I post new videos that you're advised that those have been uploaded. So tonight's card is going to be a little bit different. We're going to do something called a one-sheet wonder, and it's a very, very old technique that's been around for 100 years. But it dawned on me that some people don't know how to cut a 6x6 sheet of paper. So those of you, I know there's some of you out there that don't like doing one sheet wonders, and I get it. I don't use it very often, to be quite honest. But some of our papers at Stampin' Up! Do come as 6x6. So I wanted to make sure that you understand how to cut your paper so that you're getting the most out of it. So it's kind of like the Love It, Chop It, but in a slightly different version. So it is a great way to learn how to cut some cardstock just so that you get the most use out of it. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. And I'm probably not going to finish all of the cards tonight or today. I probably will just show you. I'm going to turn this light off. Sorry. I'm just going to probably show you the finished cards afterwards. Sorry, I'm having a hard time turning off my light. There we go. Hopefully that works better. I am going to maybe... Okay, let's just leave it at that. All right. So I'm going to start with a card pack that I don't love. And I'm going to be quite honest about that. I think the whole suite is really cute. It's just not really my style or something that I think I would use. So this is a Santa Express paper. So, excuse me, sometimes what happens is when I do a paper share, in the past I've done it 6x6 size, but recently I've been doing a 6x12 size. So, and the reason for that is so that you get a bigger piece of paper to work with. However, if you've got some of my previous 6x6s, you're probably going, this is great, but I don't know how to use it because it's too small to do something, it's too big to do something else, and I don't know how to cut the paper. So we're going to learn how to cut this. This is only one of like thousands of different ways you can cut the paper. But this one is actually going to give me 4 different cards out of this 6x6 sheet of paper. Okay, so there are ones out there you can get 5 cards. I think maybe some that you can get a few more, but it all really just depends on how you are cutting this 6x6. So the thing I need to let you know that is if your paper is directional, and what this means is if it matters which way you cut it, because if I cut this wrong, my presents would be upside down, right? You just want to pay attention to that before you even start. So look at your paper. Is it directional? This one in this case is. So this is going to be a challenging one for me because I'm running on very little sleep. So I just have to make sure that I'm making my measurements, my first cuts the right way. And then when I go to glue down, making sure that they're okay. So I'm going to go ahead. So what you need for this is your paper trimmer. So I've got my 6x6. I want to make sure my presents are going up and down. And the first cut that I'm going to make here is actually going to be 2 inches. So 2 inches. I'm going to put this piece, I'm just going to put it to the side. So I'm working with this piece here. So 2 inches by 6 is what I have right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to rotate this and I'm going to go by 5.5. Okay. Now I could do this by 5.25 if I really wanted to. So really this is what I'm going to end up with. I could use this somewhere if I wanted to. I'm not going to because that even for me is a little small piece. So 5.5 is really what we want. But because I want to make sure that I can get this on a card, I am actually going to go, no, I'm going to leave it at 5.5. I'm not going to even confuse myself. Okay, so that's my one piece done. So now if I bring in these pieces here, this piece here, what I'm going to do is essentially I'm going to cut this in half, but I'm going to cut it this way. So I want to turn it because my paper is directional. If my paper wasn't directional, Sorry, my eCam has froze. Okay, so my camera has froze. Interesting. Okay, let me just do something here. So I'm actually wondering if maybe all these issues that I've been having is actually my camera and not necessarily my... there we go. Okay, that was really bizarre. My camera froze. So maybe all my IT issues that I've been having is my camera. Maybe it's really not even my laptop or the internet. Huh. Okay, so what I was saying was this is the piece that I have left. Because it's directional, I want to turn it because we're going to cut it in half. So I'm going to cut this down to 3 inches. Okay, so yes, 3 inches. So now I have 2 pieces. I'm going to put one piece to the side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this at 1 inch. 1 inch. 1 inch. And 1 inch. Okay, so now I have 4 pieces at 1 inch by 3 inch. Now, this other piece that I have here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it at 1.5. And I'll turn this one and I'm going to cut this one at 1.5. Okay, so 1.5, 1.5. And then I have this one, 1.5. And 1.5. So now I'm going to have 4 of these at 1.5. Okay, and then this one is 1 inch by 3 inch. So let me show you something here. I'm going to get my paper trimmer out of the way for just a second. So I have this piece that is 2 by 5.5, and I have 5 of these 1 inch by 3 inch. Okay, and then I have 4 that are 1.5 by 1.5. Okay, so that's my 6 by 6 piece of paper. So this is 1 card. This will be 2 cards. This will be 3 cards, and this will be 2 cards. This will be 3 cards. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cards out of a 6 by 6 sheet of paper. Okay. So you're like, how in the heck is she going to do that? Right? Well, let me show you. All right. So for this paper pack, or for this card, what I did was I decided that my card base was going to be cherry cobbler. So I actually went ahead and I embossed 2 of these, but I didn't emboss the other 2. Just because my die cutting machine and embossing machine was in the other room. So I've just gone ahead and pre-did that. And then I like to make layers for these. So you don't have to do this for your cards. But I like to add a layer behind these just to help them pop a little bit. Now, I'm not going to do it for this one because on the sample card that I did, I was not thinking, and this is 5.5, which is the size of your card, right? Your card base. So I'm not going to put a base behind this. However, if I wanted to, I could cut this down to 5.25, which I might do now. 5.25, so then I can put my base at 5.5. I do like having that little bit of a trim around these pieces, so that's why I like to do that, okay? So I'm going to put these pieces to the side for a second, and what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to use our paper trimmer. So I'm using Evening Evergreen here as the cardstock base. And what I'm going to do, actually I'm going to cut this down right now because that's at 5.25. Okay, so this one is 2 by 5.25. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this one, I'm just going to go 1/8 of an inch, or 2/8 of an inch. Oh shoot, hang on. 2/8 of an inch bigger than what I need. So I'm just going 2 tick lines is essentially what I'm doing. I think, if I did that right. Yeah. Okay. So it's hard to see probably on camera, but it's just a very, very, very thin border around that, and that's what I want. Okay, so I did this piece. So now these ones I need, so I'm going to go 3 on this one. So I'll do this one first. And then I'm going, so these are the 1-inch pieces that I'm doing. So really what I'm doing is just going 2 little tick lines in on my paper trimmer. So I need 1. It's hard to see because the arm's right there on this one. 2, 3. Just watching my camera, make sure it's not my camera that's freezing up on me again. 4, and I think this one is just going to be my garbage. And so I need one more, right? So I think what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to do my square pieces first. Just so that, oh, I just dropped my, for some reason, is that right? For some, yeah, I totally did that wrong. Okay. I'm so asleep. My scoring blade keeps coming off my paper trimmer for some reason. Okay, so I'm going to do, oh my gosh, I think I did these wrong. Did I? No, I didn't. Woo! I cut this piece wrong is what I did. Okay. So, yeah, it's always interesting with me when I'm paper crafting, and I'm tired. Oh, shoot. Yeah, because I'm not even making sense right now, am I? Okay, so 1.5. I'm confusing myself, actually. And 2 tick lines to 1.5. So on the other ones that I did, oh my gosh, what is going on with me today? It's 1.5 by 1.5, is it not? 1.5. So if I go 2 tick lines, okay, this is better. Oh my gosh, honestly, I am like so, yeah. So I'm not usually this bad, am I? No, I'm not. But today, I'm still kind of groggy, if you will. So I went to bed at 7:30 last night. Okay, let me see if I have enough pieces here. Maybe the second card will be better. Okay, bear with me. Okay, so we have these ones. Okay, I need 5 of those, and I don't know if I cut enough, but let's see here. So this is, yeah, so this is going to go like this. I should have maybe done it in red, but my base is going to be red. So we're just getting a little bit of a trim on that. So there's not much. I know it's really hard to see on camera, but trust me on this one, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and glue these on, and then I have those ones. Okay, so let's do this. So I could use the back piece of this too, which is super cute. So it's polka dots. So that's the one thing I do love about Stampin' Up! Paper. I was saying this to a group of ladies the other night that I was talking to. Stampin' Up! Does a really great job with our papers in the sense that, well, it's good quality, obviously, but in the sense that one side is printed and it might be seasonal, whereas the other side is actually designed so it can be used for any occasion. So it doesn't have to be, you know, it might be Christmas, let's say, on the front, but on the back, it's a pretty generic pattern that you can use any time of the year. And that's really great because a lot of our paper is, well, all of our paper is double-sided. So it's awesome that we have that flexibility, because sometimes when you get paper packs and it's like strictly just Halloween or strictly just Valentine's Day or whatever the paper is that you've got, it makes it really like challenging, right? So I'm feeling kind of stuffy today too, so that's not good. So there's not much of a border on this, and I could have gone to the next quarter. So like I could have done these at 1.25 by 3.25. And that's what I actually did on the original card that I did. And I'll show you those at the end, because I'm likely not going to do the sentiments and stuff on these ones just because for sake of time. But I just want you to kind of get a feel for the style, and this way you know how to use your 6x6 paper, because I think sometimes we get really intimidated by the size, and we know that Love It Chop It is how I show you how to cut down all your design series paper so it's all ready to go for you, but we never really do 6x6. So like I said, if you look online, there are, oh, tons and tons of variations of a one sheet wonder, with 8.5 by 11, with 12 by 12, and with 6x6. I find 6x6 probably the most intimidating, I guess, for me, because it's like I'm used to working with 8.5 by 11 or 12 by 12. So I just hope this will kind of help you when you're needing to make a card. This may not be the right piece of paper. I might have cut this one wrong. Actually, I did cut this one wrong. I did, I think. Possibly. Yeah, so you are probably going to hear my dog snoring. So those of you that have been following me for a while know that we had to put my husband's dog down a couple months ago, I guess now. And so her sister is very lost without her. So I have been taking her to the studio with me. So she gets very excited to come to work, but then stays here and sleeps all day. So anyway, so these ones are cut a little bit incorrectly, but that's okay. We can make this work. So here's what we have from the 6x6 sheet of paper. Okay, so this is what we've got. So really, I've just cut down my designer series paper. I just went up 2/8 of an inch on each of those to make the base. So the measurements are always going to be the same. It's just you're going to up it either, but you can do 1/4 of an inch too if you want, if that's easier. I'm just trying to roll up my sleeves because they're a little bit long and they're kind of driving me a little bit bonkers. And then that way I can get functioning here. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. And again, probably not going to go ahead and do the whole, all the sentiments for these, but I will post the measurements later. So for this one, because my paper, goes up and down, this card I'm going to have to go as a portrait card. But I don't have to do it as a portrait card if it's not directional, right? So this one I have a couple of options I can do. I can kind of come over here. I could put a sentiment here. I could put it more this way. I could put it here and put something across. I could emboss this absolutely 110%. If this wasn't directional, I could put this way, right? And then kind of, so lots and lots of variations. So for this one, for example, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and glue this down, and I'm probably just going to put something here. I'm not going to emboss this one just for sake of simplicity and time. But if you don't cut this down to 5.5, you don't need a base, because the 5.5 is the same size as your base. So it will hang over, and I'm going to show you what I mean at the end. So stick with me, because you're going to learn from my boo-boos. All right, so there's card number 1. Card number 2, I'm trying to see, what did I do for card number 2? Did I emboss card number 2? Okay, so card number 2, I'm going to use one of my embossed sheets. And I'm going to do, so you've seen the card that I did for the demonstrator training event. And I'm going to do 3 of these patterns going this way. Now, could I fit 5 on here? I don't think so. I can fit 4, but not 5. Okay, but for my card, I'm going to actually do these this way. And again, because my paper is going up and down, and because it's directional, I kind of have to make this card a landscape card. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue this one. So if you want to measure where the center is, you can. I just like to kind of eyeball. Now, if your paper is embossed, you may need a little bit extra adhesive, because what happens is that the glue gets into the groove. See how it's lifting here? And because I'm using the liquid glue. So I like to find my center one, and then put my pieces on either side of that. So I'm just going to hold this down for a minute. Actually, you know what I can do I'm just going to do that for right now. So a good way to use your acrylic blocks is as weights. I use that quite often. I'm just going to move this over so I can see what I'm doing. And there we go. Okay, so this is going to be my weight. So for this one, I'll show you the card at the end that I did. So just make sure you stay around to the very end because I'm going to show you the cards that I did make super quick this morning. But this is awesome. A really great way to use up that 6x6 paper that's been sitting in your cupboard, not sure how to use it. You're a little bit intimidated by it. Go ahead and try this out. So here's this one. I would put a sentiment across on here. Okay, so there's my second card done. My third card, again, I'm going to use an embossed piece. Now this one, because I have the two pieces of 1 inch by 3 inch, I could do something like this. I could actually make this a landscape card as well if I wanted to, and do something like this if I wanted. I could do something like this. Like there's so many different options that you can do. For this one though, I'm going to make this a landscape or portrait card, and I'm going to just kind of do it like this. And again, you can always use your dimensionals to pop these things up. You see how I'm kind of like just whipping through here pretty quick. So I could have actually used real red on this card instead of the cherry cobbler, but there is cherry cobbler in there, so I thought it would be kind of fun to use that. I just realized I used the wrong base for the wrong card. But anyway, does not matter. You guys would not know the difference. Okay, here we go. Okay, so there's my second card. So I could put a sentiment here. I could put some embellishments here, etc. Okay, so now the last card for this paper pack, I am not embossing because what I'm actually going to do, oh, not that piece, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take a piece of basic white, and this is just your standard 4 by 5 and a, 4 by 5 and a quarter, 4 by 5 and a quarter, if I could speak would be very awesome. And I'm just going to glue this down on the front of my card. And again, I'm going to show you all the finished cards at the end, so stick with me. Not all the 4 of them. Okay, so here's the front of my card. And then I'm going to use these 4. Oh my gosh, what is going on with this paper today? Okay, did I cut my designer series paper wrong? Holy crap. Okay. I'm going to fix this one. I'm going to turn that down. So that's going to be my last layer. I'm going to put my sentiment here. I could put a circle in the middle. Lots of things I can do with this one. Okay. So I'm going to cut this down just a hair. Cut this one down if I can, just a hair. There, that looks better. And again, if you want to pop these up, absolutely. If you don't, that's fine. Your card, nobody knows what your card was supposed to look like. Remember that. Don't ever forget those wise words. And I've never once had anybody say to me, oh my gosh, that's such an ugly card. So, maybe they say it behind my back. I don't know. Nor do I really care, because I know the love that's gone into the card. So, all right, here we go. Last one. So, you need to stick with me. Okay. So, you're just evenly spacing that, which that's not very even, but you know what I mean. You got it, right? You got where I'm going with this. So, here in 23 minutes... and a few mess ups, here are my 4 cards completely done. Okay. Now again, I could have added a white layer behind this to break it up, whatever. Not my favorite paper. So that's why I'm starting with that. Okay. Excuse me. That's where your first 4 cards are coming from. Now, let's do, okay. Sorry, my phone is going crazy. Let's do this one, because this one, actually, you know what? No, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do a non-holiday one, because not everybody enjoys the holidays. And sometimes we forget that, right? So this is the lovely tea paper. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, it's absolutely stunning. It has the gingham on the back, and then it's got the floral on the front. So I really like this one. I just have to get my scoring blade. Oops. Here. There. See if that will stop falling out on me. All right, so here we go. We're going to cut. My first cut is going to be at 2 inches. Oh, there's paper in my track here. Okay, so 2 inches, and this one I'm going to do by 5 1/4. I know it says 5 1/2, but I'm going to do 5 1/4. Because then that also gives me a little bit of a bigger piece, right? Not that I'm going to use it, but. And then this one, I'm going to go by 3 inches, because I'm cutting it in half, right? 6 by 6. And then I'm going to go 1 inch. And 1 inch. And 1 inch. So these are 4. 1 inches. Why does I don't know why my scoring blade keeps coming out. Just keeps popping out on me. Okay, so there we go for those ones. And then these ones I'm doing 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. So 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. Oh shoot, I screwed that up. Oh shoot, did you see what I did? I messed up. Oh well, I'm only getting 3 cards out of this one. Oopsie daisies. Oh well. 1 less card out of this one. I cut my paper wrong and I should have had a 1 by 3 on the end. So I'm only going to get 3 cards out of this one. That's what happens when you're tired. Okay, so I'm going to use Poppy Parade as my background on this one. So I'm going to do this one at, I'm going to go, let's do them on the next course. I'm going to go 5 1/2 on this one. And then I'm going to go 2 1/4. No, actually I don't even need that one. Let's go 1. Let's see, 3. What am I doing? I am really confused today, guys. 3. 3 1/4 is what I'm doing. I'm really, really tired today. 1 1/4 and 1 1/4. Okay. So 3 1/4. Is anybody completely confused by me today? Because I am. I am confused myself. So I need 1 more piece at 1 1/4 by 3 1/4. This should not be this difficult, but for somebody who can't process right now, it's very, very difficult. So 1 1/2, so I'm going to go 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. So that's going to be for my 1 1/2 piece. I'm going to do another one at 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. That's 2. I need a 1 3/4. Oh, look at that. That's perfect. By 1 3/4 and by 1 3/4. I think I need another coffee. I think that's what my problem is. I usually have 1, but I'm really super tired today, so I'm thinking maybe I need more than 1. Okay, so here we go on this one. Oh yeah, shoot. I guess I did say I was cutting that down to 1 1/4, didn't I? Honestly, today, guys, I'm not. Okay, let's do this. Oh, this is 5 1/2 this way. So I'm going to do 2 1/4. All right, I should have gone with my gut reaction and just went with it. Okay. There we go. That's what I want. So pretty. Okay, so see how this one... Sorry, my work phone's buzzing and I don't even know where it is. Okay. So see this one here? How pretty this is going to be? I promise you guys I will give you the measurements on all these as well, okay? Just so that I know this video is a little bit wonky and you're probably going, what is wrong with her today? Well, what's wrong with her is that she's got a lot in her brain right now. And I can't process things very well, apparently, for a Monday morning. Okay. My family's very sick, too. I have a husband who's got a very, very, very bad cold. And now my son has a bad cold as well because they were outside in the wet and the cold and all that stuff all weekend, trying to bring the cows in. On top of everything else going on. Okay, here we go. So, the really hard thing about Stampin' Up! Paper is trying to decide what side you want to use. Because both sides are so beautiful all the time. It's a challenge. It's truly a challenge. So, hopefully these measurements and me messing them up has not confused you beyond words. But essentially, I will get you the measurements for the designer series paper. And what you're going to do is you're going to, your base, so your solid piece, is going to, or your frame, or whatever, mat, whatever you want to call it, is actually just going to be either an 1/8 of an inch, 2/8 of an inch, or 1/4 of an inch bigger, whatever you prefer. Some people don't like the 8ths. Some people just prefer to go up to the inches, like the next 1/2 inch. So that's what I've done here. So just to show you the difference too between the 1/8 and the 1/4 inch. And I think it actually really just does depend on the paper too, because some papers I think you can get away with doing the 1/8 of an inch, and some of them I think you maybe need more of a frame on them. So, you know, I just realized, oh my gosh, I cut this paper wrong. This tea paper. Okay. Anyway, this is going to be completely different because somehow this does not look like this, right? So I must cut that at 1 1/4 instead of 1 1/2. Well, hopefully I can get the last card right. Maybe I should just skip the last card and I'm just going to show you what I did. How about that? That might be better. Yeah, because this is looking a little bit funny. Don't you think? Looking a little bit funny. Yeah. So I totally messed this one up. All right. Anyway, so we're going to carry on like we know what's going on, kind of. So I embossed this one with the floral paper. Or floral embossing folder, I mean. So this one, I'm going to go 1. And you can space these out however you want, right? 1, 2, and 3. Right? So that's what that one's going to be. And then this one, let's do something weird. Or let's not. Just do something like that. I'll have to figure out something with this one. Okay. I'm going to stop while I'm ahead because I am really going downhill quick. Okay. So here are the cards that I actually made this morning before I went on video and thought I could actually function enough to do this. But here is the first card. So remember I said about cutting it down to 5 1/2. So this actually is too big. So I made the mat and then realized, that's not going to work because this piece is 5 1/2. So anyway, cut this down to 5 1/4, not 5 1/2, I would say personally, and then you would have something more along the lines of this, right? So there's that one. This one I use the music note embossing folder. I don't know if you can tell that, but and then I just did the soft succulent with the evening evergreen with the 'Tis the Season. This one here, again, I used the 3, and then the Season's Greetings, the music notes for that one. And then here is the last one, and I'm toying with putting something right there. But yeah, it's, see, I actually can do it. I just can't do it on a camera live while I'm trying to shoot a video. So these are your 4 cards. And hopefully I can come back next week with something a little bit better that won't confuse the bejesus right out of you guys. And yeah, so I'm going to end now because I'm really tired and I need to get more coffee into me. So please be sure to try that, even though I know it was very confusing. I will get you the measurements and we'll get them posted and see what happens. Okay, thanks for joining me, everybody. I'll be back soon. Okay, bye.